Ina Rogers. Okay, so that's Ina Rogers. As you guys can see from the title, this story is about parents who were charged after 10 children were rescued from their home in California in terrible living conditions, which is what the police reported. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this story, give you guys some background, and let you know. Matter of fact, I need to let you guys know this. And yes, please hit the thumbs up. What's up, Dominique Duke, Mr. Chips Hately, everybody, Gloria Lucas also, Selena L also. Thank you guys so much. And Beverly, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. For the people that maybe this is around your dinner time, for the people that maybe have a weak stomach, squeamish, or anything like that, I'm going to warn you guys now. There will be some graphic details in this story with regard to their house. There will be some pictures. There will be some depictions about the way that these children were living. So I want to forewarn you guys, before we even get started, that's what I'm going to be showing. So if you guys aren't able to deal with some of those pictures and some of those images, then I want to let you guys know now that we will be showing that type of stuff. So if you have to, you can exit the video, but I'm just going to always be honest with you. This is just a news report, nothing more, nothing less. But what we're doing is we're just calling out bad parenting, right? So here we go. Now, there was a story that came out of California and out of Fairfield, California. So the MFSVH, yes, this is around the area where you live. There were children that were removed from a squalid California home, described acts of intentional abuse that resulted in puncture wounds, burns, bruising, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun, authorities said on Monday. Sharon Henry, who's chief deputy district attorney for Solano County, said she, quote, was horrified by the statements from the children and that torture was carried out in the house for sadistic purposes. S-A-D-I-S-T-I-C. Sadistic. It's hard for me to say that word. Sadistic purposes. She declined to elaborate. It literally breaks your heart and you're outraged by how a parent or anyone could commit those acts, Henry said afterwards. So here's the background of the story. A California man has been arrested for what police say was a long and continuous history of severe physical and emotional abuse of his 10 children between the ages of 4 months and 12 years old. Police in Fairfield, California say they uncovered the alleged abuse after responding to a report of missing children March 31st. Hey, what's up, Megan? How you doing? I think, Megan, you sent me a story also, and I think I sent you an email back, so shout out to Megan also. I'm going to read that again. The 10 children are between the ages of 4 months and 12 years old. So if you guys didn't catch that, if these two actually have children together, which I don't know if these are foster children or their actual birth, yes, 10. Yeah. 10 children. Paul from H-Town said a life sentence for both of them. You are going to love this story if you feel like they should both get a life sentence. "12 years old is the oldest." So what that means is that if you minus out that 1 year, so that literally means from the time that one of those kids was 1, they never stopped having children up until now. If my math is somewhat correct, give or take 3 to 4 months. What's up, Mac Alpha? They literally continue to have children every single year consecutively. That's the only way that can happen, unless some of them came in with children already and had them consecutively, or if they both had children outside of their marriage, or I don't know. They didn't specify. It's confusing, but I'm assuming that these children came from the two of them at this point. Police in Fairfield, California say they uncovered the alleged abuse after responding to a report of a missing child March 31st. Sharon Henry, who's the chief deputy district attorney for Solano County, that's a tongue twister right there, said Monday the torture was carried out for, quote unquote, sadistic purposes, and she was horrified by the statements from the children. Fairfield Police Lieutenant Greg Hurlbut said that the children taken from the home had puncture wounds, burns, bruises, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun. And I seriously, well, I don't know. I guess kids could do that to each other, but one would have to wonder who put the pellet gun in the house. Like, who do you blame for that, right? The abuse was revealed in interviews with the children over the past 6 weeks. They quote, "It literally breaks your heart and you're outraged by how a parent or anyone could commit those type of acts," Henry added. When police located the 12-year-old, who was actually a runaway, and responded to the child's, okay, it didn't say that. When the police located the 12-year-old, what happened was the 12-year-old, how did the kids get the gun? That's what I'm assuming that one of the parents probably put it in the house. The 12-year-old ran away from the house. So they looked for the 12-year-old, because I don't see it said in the story, but you guys will hear it. When they found the 12-year-old, they tried to return that 12-year-old to the houses, which is how they ended up finding out all of this stuff in the house was going on, how nasty the house was and all of that stuff. What did Tim say? I might have missed it. What did he say? The worst stewards of children. That's exactly what Tommy says. Like I say, a woman's body is just like a house. In order for a man to enter that woman's house, the woman has to open the doors. So women have an innate power over their own bodies and over men, because a man cannot do with a woman what a woman will not let that man do. So women have power. If women understood their power, then what that means is that you control who you have children by, who comes into your life. You have absolute control over all of that, which is, if Barack Obama is correct in saying black women are the backbone of the black community, then what that means is that black women are responsible in this case. Yes, both parties are culpable. Let's not get that twisted. Because what you guys are going to notice is who is actually held accountable in this situation. So we can say that all day long, but we can also watch and see who was actually held accountable. So when they found the 12-year-old and responded to the child's home, officers say they conducted a search for other children at the residence, meaning I'm assuming that one of the parents probably weren't there, which is a problem in itself. What's up, Alfred? Imagine the fear that 12-year-old had, thinking they were returning him to a house of horrors. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Taking him right back there, and probably going to suffer some more abuse because of it. They found 9 other children rescued from horrible living conditions, according to Fairfield police press release. The children were living in squalor and unsafe conditions, the police say, which is amazing, because if you guys see how big this house is and see how nasty they kept it, man, it's going to be incredible. And I've got some videos to show you guys. Police, and do me a favor, y'all hit the thumbs up. We got about 250 people watching. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up so more people will know that we're live, and so more people will have the opportunity to come in and chime in and say what they need to say in the chat. Queen of Worlds said, I get that you want to bash like Tommy, bash women like Tommy. This is the thing. I bash bad parents. That's the difference. Don't block her. Don't time her out, please. I want to be able to talk to those people. Okay. Now, when you talk about bashing somebody, first of all, you would have to give a definition of what the word bash means, because bash is an overused word in the black community, and that word literally means nothing. I need you to tell me what it is that I'm actually doing when you say the word bash, okay? Because bash is not a word. Bash is not a real word. Bash is a physical action, if it's anything, okay? So to translate what she means is to say that we're saying bad things about women. We are saying bad things about parents. If you guys know, what were the last couple of stories that I did? Do you guys even know? One of the last stories I did was actually about a young man that shot 31 times at a house and killed a little boy. We don't discriminate here. But what we do is we focus on the black community primarily, because as you can see from my skin color, I'm a part of the black community. So I talk about what I know. The black community is what I know. I've been in the black community for 30 plus years, so I'm very familiar with what the black community can and can't do. And what the black community does not have is it doesn't have accountability and it doesn't have shame. Well, the reason why we have 250 people watching the show is because of the fact that we are actually taking the time to put our lives and our reputations and all of this stuff on the line to our own people and say, this shit is wrong. So for any parents to say, oh, you shouldn't bash somebody and talk about them and embarrass them in the news, behind, them doing something to 10 kids. What a crazy part about that is you guys have to wonder, what did he say? I know what she said. I know exactly what she said. That's why I was responding to it. I'm actually giving an answer. If you guys type something in the chat, I'll give you an answer to it. I don't mind. I know she said, I'm sounding like Tommy. But the thing is you guys are focusing on Tommy and focusing on a particular person. What I want you guys to do is stop being so narrow-minded and widen your scope and look at it and say, we're not going to sit there and worry about the person talking about the person that the news is already talking about, the person that has done some reprehensible actions. Okay? That's why sometimes it's better to not type and listen first before you type and understand what's actually going on here. You can't look at my channel and see that we're putting parents out here that are doing terrible things to their children and say, I didn't like the way you talked about those people. But they killed a fucking kid. They're abusing children. There are mothers that are taking their children and slamming babies, infants down on the bed so hard that they're breaking their necks and killing their children and cracking their heads and giving them black eyes and kicking them in the stomach and kids throwing up blood. See, this is the thing. The reason why I say that we are advocates for children at this channel first is because children cannot defend themselves at all. So anybody that would take any type of negative action against a child, yes, we are going to quote unquote bash that person. That is all we are doing. We are not actually taking our fists and actually bashing that person. We're not actually taking that person by the neck and slamming them on the bed that they hit the wall and break their neck. We're not doing any of this stuff. We're not taking a weapon and shooting 31 times at a house and hitting these parents that are doing these to these children. Are we? What we're doing is we're taking the news, we're analyzing the news in a way that we see fit to deliver it in a way that I feel like our community needs to see these actions as bad. I also believe that we will get some detractors here, but at the same time, this is also, abuse is never okay. Thank you, Queen of World. That's my point. Thank you for saying that. Because I was going to say, if you didn't agree with that point, we might have an issue. And what you have to do is you have to be more concerned about children because children cannot defend themselves. Don't worry about a grown ass person. It's if we're bashing women or bashing black women, they're grown. They can defend themselves or they can ignore it. They're the strongest women in the world, so I'm assuming that they can absorb a little bit of damage, right? Emotionally, spiritually, physically. Right? Yes? Okay. So if that's the case, then let us do what we do here. This is called freedom of speech. And it does bother me that people feel like only certain people should have freedom of speech, or you should only be allowed to have freedom of speech if it goes with your own personal narratives. That don't sound real free to me. And if you guys really believe in freedom of speech and being free in the United States of America, then you guys will let us say what we need to say and stop flagging us down. Because if you flag us down, then what you're doing is flagging free speech. We might as well go back to slavery if that's the case. Slavery was a choice. You guys are choosing to put me and Tommy and other YouTubers in a form of slavery, meaning that if we want to do a story, we have to be slaves of your system to make your sensibilities and your little feelings on the inside feel comfortable that you can hear something that you have the option to turn off. It is a form of slavery by cutting off someone's freedom of speech, because the constitutional right was put there for a reason, because they're your God-given rights, and it's the right thing to do to allow people to open their mouths and speak their real thoughts and feelings. If you want to take that into relationships, you talk about, come on, women, hello, hello, hello. How many women out there want a man to be honest with them, not lie to them? Well, why did you tell me a lie? You know why most men tell lies? Because women are only comfortable with hearing certain things. They're not comfortable with the truth. Hello. You ought to appreciate a man that wants to be honest with you. If I don't like your guts, you ought to appreciate if I tell you I don't like your guts. If I feel a certain way, you ought to appreciate the fact that I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to keep it straight 100 with you or anything like that. Can I get some love out there in my chat? Why are y'all so quiet? Am I right or am I wrong? That's why we grow here. Because the people that are choosing to come into this thing for the first time with an open mind, it takes a different voice sometimes to hear the same message a little bit different. That's why you have relationship rehab. That's why you have Packer Girl. That's why you have my brother Tommy Sotomayor. That's why you have so many other YouTubers out there, because we're all pushing out a message that we believe in, and we all do it a little bit different. So yes, I'm going to sit on my high horse a little bit here today. I don't say exactly the same things that Tommy says, but I believe in the message that Tommy pushes out there is that the Black community needs better stewards of children, period. There is no such thing as a perfect person. How many of you guys preach that Bible crap out there? How many of you guys say that only God can judge me? How many people say that no person is perfect except God and Jesus and all that? How many of you people have heard somebody say that? So if you believe that, if you say that, or if you listen to somebody that speaks that type of rhetoric, then understand that there's always room for criticism. Always room for criticism. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. So if we had a world full of perfect parents, then we would still have a lot of stories where we could point out and say, this is still where you can do better, because there are going to be some imperfections in there. It just so happens that not only are we so far from perfection, we're at the point of just disgusting actions from parents that children don't deserve. They need a chance. If you want to make the world a better place, you have to give children a fair chance. Financially, spiritually, emotionally. You have to give them a fair chance at a mother and a father, which is why we shouldn't be recklessly procreating without a plan for the future. Have a ring on your finger before you have a kid. If you're not sure about whether that man is going to stay in your life, then don't have the kids. Unless you have a ring on your finger, don't have a kid. Don't get pregnant. It's not impossible to do. There's a million forms of birth control, and now they're starting to come out with birth control for men. Okay? Let me get back to my story. Hope you guys felt me on that. That bumped us up to almost about 300 people watching. Hit that thumbs up, please. Let's keep going. Police said that they found the 12-year-old boy. They tried to return him to the home. They saw that there were 9 other children there in the home in horrible living conditions, according to the police. They were living in squalor and unsafe conditions. Police added that officers found spoiled food on the floor and animal and human feces at the house. Hurlbut, who's one of the police officers, said that some areas of the home were impassable, meaning it was so dirty you couldn't even walk through it. The children were taken into protective custody, and their mother, who's age 30 years old, which let me see if she's still on my screen right now. Yep, that's her. That's the mother and the father. All right. Her name is Ina, I-N-A. Very simple name. Ina, I-N-A, Rogers, R-O-G-E-R-S. So if anybody who wants to look that up, she's age 30. You guys, no, my blood pressure is not up. I get excited. Don't worry about that part. I get excited because I believe in what I'm talking about. I'm just impassioned. I'm okay. You guys will know, like some of y'all have been watching me for a while. Y'all know when I get upset. This is not upset. And this is not running my blood pressure up. I'm woke. I'm woke. Right? Now, she's 30 years old, Ina Rogers, so you guys ought to be able to look her up. She was booked into Solano County Jail, which is Solano County Jail, on child neglect charges. Rogers was released after posting a $10,000 bail on April 9th. Yep. Jay McLovin, know we love that Red Bull. Hey, matter of fact, if y'all want to tell Red Bull to give us a sponsorship, let us know. We will drink it all on camera all damn day. Y'all holler at Red Bull for us. She was released on April 9th after posting a $10,000 bail, meaning that if she went through a bail bondsman, that means she only had to come up with $1,000. So she had $1,000 to be able to throw away to be able to get out of jail. All right. Now, it didn't specify whether her husband or boyfriend, whatever he is, I'll specify here in a little bit. Rogers told reporters Monday that she called authorities in March after her 12-year-old son didn't come home. So if she hadn't called the authorities and the boy had came home, they might not have ever found any of this information out. She said the squalor officers saw while investigating from her home came from them tearing up the home as they searched for the child. I'll read that again. She said that the quote-unquote squalor the officers saw while investigating came from them tearing up her house as they searched for the child. Now, in this article, it says that she tore up the house looking for the child. But I'm about to show you guys the news clip where she actually said that the officers did it and not her. So I didn't misread that for the people that want to look on cbsnews.com. I didn't misread that. Fear set in that my son was missing, she said. So I ripped up my whole house, tore out the closet and everything, lifted up the beds, which makes no sense. We know it doesn't make sense, but that's what she said. The children didn't require medical attention when they were removed, but stories came out gradually over the past 6 weeks, and 8 of the children told professionals about incidents dating back several years, authorities said. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, because I feel like I've been talking for a lot. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the first story, but what I have to do before I show you guys this first story is, as some of you guys know, have to give the fair usage, and here we go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right. Here we go. You guys do me a favor. We got 310 people watching. Hit that thumbs up for me. Here we go. This is one of the first stories.
Removed from a home in California that's being described as a house of horrors. Police say the kids were abused and tortured, and both parents are now facing charges. ABC's Diane Macedo has the very latest.
And this is absolutely appalling.
Ina Rogers is speaking out after she and her husband were charged with abusing and even torturing their 10 children.
I just caught that. I was wondering who that was standing next to her. That's the husband right there. This is so confusing. But that's the husband. Let me back it up a little bit. She was holding hands with him. I'm assuming that's the husband.
Ina Rogers is speaking out after she and her husband were charged with abusing and even torturing their 10 children.
I strive and I thrive myself on being a good parent.
There's her name, Ina Rogers.
my children. My husband has a lot of tattoos. He looks like a scary individual, and that's why people are so quick to judge him, but absolutely not. My husband is an amazing person. I am an amazing mother.
Okay, that's the husband right there. Okay, so that's two different people. But you guys have got to see his mugshot. It's crazy. Y'all might have saw it scrolling on the screen. But that's the husband right there. Not that guy. So that's my apologies, because I saw the other guy's face. He has long hair and he's light skinned. He has a big, huge tattoo across his face.
To judge him, but absolutely not. My husband is an amazing person. I am an amazing mother.
First of all, it's almost like telling somebody, I'm really, really smart. Like you just are. You don't have to tell people that. If you're an amazing mother, why do you have to tell people that you're an amazing mother? They'll find out on their own. They're going to investigate you. But anyway, here we go. Let's keep going.
But police in Fairfield, California have a different take. They say this case started in late March when Roger's 12-year-old son ran away. He was found a short time later, but officers say they also found 9 other kids living in filth.
Garbage and spoiled food on the floor.
Again, I warned you guys. Y'all see this on the screen. This is the bathroom. 338 people watching. Hit the thumbs up. Let's see if we can get to 400. This is the bathroom. Look at that. Who bathes in that? Oh, God. Oh. I've already warned you guys. I gave y'all the disclaimer earlier. I hope y'all are not eating. What is that on the bathroom floor? They say it's a mix of animal feces and human feces on the floor and apparently in the tub. Jesus Christ.
Animal and human feces.
Oh. Woo-wee. I know. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I didn't already gave y'all the disclaimer now. Shoot. I'm going to just play the story.
And a large amount of debris making areas of the house unpassable.
Look at the rooms.
Rogers claims police may...
And see, and look at how big this house is. And I'm not saying that a big house can't be nasty, but it doesn't look like it should just be like a freaking pigsty like that. Kelly Brown Eyes, were they showering? I don't know how many bathrooms they have in this house. The house looks relatively big. I don't know.
made the mess during their search.
They tore up everything.
Okay, that's the part where I wanted you guys to hear. Listen to this. I'm gonna turn this volume up. I hope I don't turn it up too loud. Listen to this. Who does she blame?
Rogers claims police made the mess during their search.
Did y'all hear that?
They tore up everything.
Now, when I read this report, and yes, some of y'all already caught the lie. I'm going to read that part again. She said the squalor, and this is coming from, matter of fact, I'll put the link in the chat. For some of y'all that want to go back and research, look at that link. And y'all tell me, I want y'all to scroll down. You'll see the video at the top. Scroll down that first large paragraph. It's right before you get to the bottom of the picture of the children. And she quotes, "The squalor the officers saw while investigating came from her tearing her house apart as she searched for the child. Fear set in that my son was missing, she said." 249 likes, 351 watching. Not too bad. Y'all, when y'all come in, hit the thumbs up for me. You don't always have to donate, but if you would donate a thumbs up, That would be awesome. So I ripped up my whole house, tore everything out of the closet, lifted up the beds. I'm gonna read it again. She said squalor that the officers saw while investigating came from her tearing her house apart as she searched for the child. I want you guys to take a look at that article I posted in the chat. I'll post it one more time. Let me know if I'm making this up. Let me know, did I miss something? Fear set in that my son was missing, she said. So I ripped up my whole house, tore up everything out of the closets, lifted up the beds. And this is actually coming from about 4 different websites of her actual statement. But what did she tell the news people?
Made the mess during their search.
Making areas of the house unpassable.
Rogers claims police made the mess during their search.
Areas of the house unpassable.
Rogers claims police made the mess during their search. Rogers claims police made the mess during their search. Rogers claims police made the mess during their search.
What?
Rogers claims police made the mess during their search. Rogers claims police made the mess during their search.
Is that not contradictory? Rogers say that police made the mess while on their search, but she said she was searching for the children and tore up the house, looking under the beds for the children. A little weird, but nonetheless, let's keep going. Listen to the rest of the lie. This is why I already don't believe her. Y'all want to know why I'm getting on to the mother in this case? This is why. Listen.
They tore up everything, and I haven't had time to clean it.
Police arrested.
They tore up everything. And
Search.
they tore up everything.
Search.
They tore up everything, and I tore up everything. They tore up everything.
Search.
They tore up everything.
They tore up everything. But I have a statement from that website that says that she did it. Once you tell a big ass lie like that, now how can we believe that you're not abusing your children? Let's keep going.
And I haven't had time to clean it.
Police arrested Rogers and her husband, Jonathan Allen. Rogers is now out on bail after being charged with abuse, while Allen remains in jail facing more serious charges.
I haven't had time to clean it.
Police arrested Rogers and her husband, Jonathan Allen.
That's her stand-up husband right there. I'm going to point something out, you guys. First of all, you can judge a book by its cover. You can judge a book by its cover. This dude is not working a reputable job anywhere. He's not. You can look at his face and tell that all he know is street shit. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong for judging this book by its cover. This is your everyday thug right here. How many people do y'all know that work as managers or supervisors or anything positive like that? How many awesome stand-up excellent parents do you guys know that got tattoos all over their face? Don't worry, I'll wait. How many? Because she said that her and her husband were great parents. How many great parents do you know with tattoos all over their face and neck and all that stuff all over their face that are great parents? I don't know any. I'm just saying. But let's listen to the story. That's the husband.
Rogers is now out on bail after being charged with abuse.
She's out on bail. $10,000 bail for endangering these children. That house looking like that. Out on bail. The husband? Nope. He's not out. Where is he at?
While Allen remains in jail facing more serious charges.
He's facing more serious charges, but yet both of them are responsible for the living conditions of these children, the treatment of the children, and they both knew what was going on with the children. So why is his charges separate from hers? Can anybody explain that? So the people that want to say we bashing black women, do the people want to explain that? Is it worse of us to talk about what the bad is that the women are doing? Or is it worse that they're actually treating them completely different in real life? Anybody want to explain that? Yes, I'm going to profile, because that's the problem with most people. When they walk into your church that ain't never been to your church before, and they walk in with a trench coat on, and they looking suspicious and looking around, and they just sit down in the back of the church. They're not saying nothing. They didn't greet anybody. And next thing you know, people getting shot up. Why? Because there was no prejudgment. There was no prejudice. There was no judgment. When things look out of place, there should be judgment. Society is teaching you guys not to judge a book by its cover. Why the hell not? You should look non-threatening. You should look like a good parent. Your house should look clean. You should look intelligent. Your children should look like they have good common sense. When you talk about behavior, you notice behavior from the visual aspect based on what you can see. That child might be a horrible person on the inside, but maybe you're not seeing it, so does that not count?
Including child cruelty and torture.
The children describe incidents of intentional abuse resulting in puncture wounds, burns, bruising, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys listen to that part again. Listen to what she does for a living. And you tell me, is she not responsible for these children the same as the man was? Listen again. What is her job?
Or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician.
Or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician. She homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician. She homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician. She homeschools her 11 children while working full-time as a medical technician.
How does she homeschool these kids? How does she homeschool these kids and don't know that these kids are being abused? Hello. If she works from home and homeschools the children and the husband is abusing the children, if the children are supposed to be in school, how does she not know what's going on with the children? How does she not know what's going on with the children if she's at home? They should be in school until the end of May. Hello. If they're between the ages of 12 and 4 months, then that means the 12-year-old, the 11-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 9-year-old, the 8-year-old, the 7-year-old, the 6-year-old. If no one else, 7 of those 10 children should be in school. Jay McLevin says, it's possible full-time at my job is 36 hours. Yes, it is possible. But how is it possible that she didn't have any idea or have anything to do with those children being abused? If she works from home and homeschools the children herself, but has no idea how 7 out of 10 children are being abused year after year and day after day, and not know that that house and bathroom have all that shit on the floor, all that dog shit, human shit, piss all over the floor. How does she not know that if she's involved with raising the children, number one, and number two, homeschooling the children? Because one thing that most parents know is that if you go to work, when you get off of work, what's the next thing that you do when you get off of work? You go get your kids. That's the second part of your day. Most working parents, the first part of their day is involved with working to provide for their children. The second part for parents who are involved with their children is to take care of their children after they get off of work. So not only was she homeschooling them, which I'm assuming you homeschool them at the time that school is supposed to be going on, because most homeschool programs that are done online have you teach those kids during the daytime and have them on a schedule just like any other place. Yes. Daytime, in school. You're the teacher. Second part of the day, taking care of the kids. How did she not know that they were being abused? The dad is the teacher. But how did she not? No, wait. Hold on. You said the dad is the teacher, but check it out though. This is what she said. Listen.
With being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while...
So who does it say homeschooled the children? Listen, guys. That's why I replayed it so many times. Listen.
With being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while...
Or a BB gun.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while working full... Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children while... Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children. Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children. Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children.
Rogers says she homeschools her 11 children. So now we can take the father out of the equation of maybe he was the one actually teaching the children. This is out of her own mouth. She's saying that she was the one who homeschooled the children.
While working full-time as a medical technician. This case comes just months after another California couple was charged with torture, accused of shackling and starving 12 of their children. David and Louise Turpin are now awaiting trial. Earlier this month, David Turpin was charged with lying
Where's Roger?
to authorities to get a homeschooling license. Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
So that's already a lot of stuff that we debunked already right there, just in that one story alone. I'm going to go ahead and play the next one uninterrupted, so that way you guys can hear the rest of the story. Let's keep going. We've got about 366 people watching. Hit that thumbs up for me. Where are we at on the thumbs up? Because I can't see it. Here we go.
A Northern California man is behind bars and his wife is out on bail after police say he tortured their 10 children over at least 3 years. Police removed the children from the couple's Fairfield home in March. That's when investigators say officers discovered filthy living conditions from the couple's
And you notice, how is it that that's her husband, but they got two different last names? Another one of those people that are claiming to be married, but you don't see no ring on the finger, and they don't have their last name changed. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Fairfield home in March. That's when investigators say officers discovered filthy living conditions, including floors covered by animal and human waste. Jamie Yukas has
oh my God, and they zoomed in on it. Jesus. Did not need to zoom in on that. 305 likes, pretty good. We got 366 people watching roughly. Need a couple more y'all to hit that thumbs up, please. If you're here watching the content, that would help me out. Look at that on the floor. That is impossible that the police came in after investigating the house and they did all of that within a matter of hours. No way. No, not possible. Not possible. And that stuff looks hard, it looks stepped on, and it looks like it's been there for a while. Impossible. I've raised dogs. How many of my people out there in the chat own animals? How long does it take for your animal waste to go from soft to hard? What do you think that bathroom smells like? What do you think that house smells like?
disturbing details.
Now keep in mind, she said that the police were the reason why the house was in squalor. Well, in a statement from the website that I posted in there, she said that she tore up her house looking for the kids.
Know what they even mean about torture. I have no idea.
Ina Rogers denies that she and her husband, Jonathan Allen, ever abused their 10 children. But on March 31st, she called police to report her oldest child missing. When they arrived, officers encountered 9 of the children, ranging from 4 months to 11 years old, living in unsafe and unsanitary living conditions. Police say they found garbage and animal and human feces. Rogers was charged with child endangerment. Police say they found garbage and animal and human feces. Police say they found garbage and animal and human feces. Police say they found garbage and animal and human feces. Police say they found garbage and animal and human feces.
I'm going to tell you what's funny about that Spank Buddha. He said the house smelled like an unkept zoo. I'm going to tell you something. Long time ago, I actually worked a little bit at the Oklahoma City Zoo, long time ago. The Oklahoma City Zoo ain't even that nasty. Hello. They don't even keep the zoo with all kinds of animals, much larger animals, and many, many more animals that just do their natural business, don't even look that bad. There is no animal that I've ever seen at the zoo or any zoo that looks that bad, that has to walk in and their house and their abode to look like that. Yeah, some women won't take their husband's last name. Yes, I absolutely know a few people like that. But to not have a ring and to not have a last name points to, it's like 3 strikes. The third strike would be if the man didn't live in the house. Then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on now. We got to throw the flag on the play on that one at that point. So I'll give you that. Like I say, we'll wait and see what the legality is about that part. So I'll give you that.
Rogers was charged with child endangerment.
The children describe incidents of intentional abuse resulting in puncture wounds, burns, bruising, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Jonathan Allen was arrested 6 weeks later after the children told police about his alleged mistreatment. He pleaded not guilty to 7 counts of torture and 9 counts of felony child abuse. He's being held on a $5.2 million bond.
That's the part where I wanted y'all to catch. He's on a $5.2 million bond, while the mother who homeschooled the children and who worked from home, based on her own words, who's already lied in an interview and said that the police tore up the house when they didn't, when she's actually admitted that she was the one looking for the child. Her bail was only $10,000 and she's out on bail. Put a pen. If you have a pen, take a pen and put it in that. We're going to come back to it.
She has been advised of her legal and constitutional rights.
The case is reminiscent of another California family. In January, David and Louise Turpin pleaded not guilty to torture, child abuse, and other charges for allegedly starving and shackling their children. Ina Rogers says her family's case is a misunderstanding.
We are going to fight till the end, until we get them back and we are cleared of all these crazy allegations.
Allen will face his next court appearance related to the charges next Thursday. For CBS This Morning, Jamie Yukas.
That's absolutely right, says Quippadillion. 10% of that is $500 grand. Ain't no way in hell he getting out of prison or jail. But she did. $10,000, $1,000, she's out. If they both lived in the house, she homeschooled the children. She had to see some of the stuff going on all these years, but yet the charges aren't even close to what they're charging her with simple child neglect. And she's already out. Him? Oh no, his charges are like 100 times worse. Y'all like when I scratch the record? I have to, because I literally watched some people type in the chat and they actually said that, wait a minute. And then I'm like, no. I go back and replay it and listen to her words. So some people, maybe I need to turn it up louder. If I need to turn it up louder, let me know. But here's the last story. Here we go.
Tonight, video from inside a Fairfield, California home where 10 children were removed after an investigation into abuse and neglect.
The children describe incidents of intentional abuse resulting in puncture wounds, burns, bruising, and injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
The mother, 30-year-old Ina Rogers, arrested and charged with child neglect. Her husband, 29-year-old Jonathan Allen, charged with 9 counts of torture and 6 counts of child abuse.
I just don't get that. I really don't. How can you charge her with child neglect, but his charges are like literally 10 times worse? Child abuse and torture. How does he have time to commit that much child abuse and that much torture and the mom knew nothing? With 9 kids? How is it that between 10 children and the mom, 11 people didn't see one person that lives in the house with them commit all of these counts of child abuse and torture in this nasty ass house? Come on, people. Let's get real.
And 6 counts of child abuse. Today, Rogers, who has since been released, says there was never any abuse, showing pictures of her children.
Those are our picture of the children right there.
With this message for them.
Mommy loves you so much, and Daddy loves you so much.
She says it was a misunderstanding stemming from a call in March when her 12-year-old developmentally delayed son ran away and she and her kids.
Wow. Y'all hear that? Developmentally delayed, as we would call mentally handicapped. Even though he was mentally not all there, he had enough wherewithal, look it up, wherewithal, like my brother Tommy says. He had enough wherewithal to know that he needed to leave that house. And he's probably the slowest one in the house. Listen to this.
Coming from a call in March when her 12-year-old developmentally delayed son ran away and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him.
Ooh, did y'all hear that? Now, did the police do it or did they just admit to it again in a third video? Listen to this. Listen. Who tore the house up?
Son ran away and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him. Away and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him.
Play it again.
Away and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him.
Who?
Turned their house upside down. She and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him.
She and her kids turned the house upside down. So why does she blame the police? Thank you, Jay McLovin. 3 different explanations. All I do is put the facts out there. That is it. I put my twist about the story, but I commonly operate on fact-based scenarios. That's it. I put the facts out there. You heard the facts, and they said, who again tore up the house?
Delayed son ran away, and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him. The police searched as well.
They never showed me a warrant, and when I went in there, they completely tore my house apart.
You hear that? You can't make this up. Listen to it again. Listen to her own words.
Trying to find him. The police searched as well.
They never showed me a warrant, and when I went in there, they completely tore my house apart.
Did they? You heard her blaming the police again, right?
Turned their house upside down trying to find him. The call in March when her 12-year-old developmentally delayed son ran away and she and her kids turned their house upside down trying to find him. The police searched as well.
They never showed me a warrant, and when I went in there, they completely tore my house apart.
It is beyond disgusting. Thank you, Jamie. It is beyond disgusting. So police brought the poop to the house. Thank you, Jason Gunn, my brother. They don't need a warrant when trying to save children. Nessa, that was going to be my point. But I don't know that to be the law, so I didn't want to throw it out there. But you did say it. I feel you on that. If children are in danger, screw that. Kick the dough in. Do what you need to do if children are in danger. Again, we're talking about the Soto You Dig being an advocacy for children and children's safety and well-being. So if children's safety and well-being is at risk, kick the dough in and search. But who tore the house up, though?
Son was found. Police arrested her and took her children. Her husband's bail has been set at $5 million. The case following another child abuse investigation in Southern California that began when a teenage girl escaped and told police her 12 siblings were being held captive. Online, the family appeared happy, but inside this home, police finding several children chained to their beds. While in Fairfield, friends coming to Rogers' defense saying she would never hurt her children.
And I'm gonna tell you guys something else that white family just made me think about. This is why I say, man, if you can't handle that many children, you shouldn't be allowed to be able to continue to produce that many children. If you're having issues with 1 kid or 2 kids or 3 kids, I think there should be a cutoff time Like a 3 strikes rule. If they gonna put a 3 strikes rule for criminals, which since Bill Clinton put that into law when he was president, which everybody loves Bill Clinton, and caused more black men ever in history to be incarcerated than any other time, right? People that love Bill Clinton. Then what they should do is institute the 3 strikes law that should be the case in a scenario like this.
But tonight, while in Fairfield, friends coming to Roger's defense saying she would never hurt.
Look at that. Man, that takes time to make a house that nasty. If you have 3 children and you are unable to take care of 3 children, then after your 3rd kid, you should be done from being able to produce children, men or women, in my opinion. I think that would help out a lot. It would cut down the problem significantly. Maybe you should cut it down to even less than that. Maybe if you can't afford 1, you should be cut off. But hey, 3 strikes laws for children. What y'all think about that? After your 3rd kid, if you can't afford it, cutting you off. Especially for Title IV, for the welfare program. I know we've been on here for a while. I'm going to have to cut this thing off here in a minute. Let me refresh and see where we're at. We are at just over an hour. We're going to cut it off here in a minute. What y'all think about that? 3 strikes. If you can't afford 3 children, you should not be able to have any more children, men and women. Yeah, you should be neutered and spayed. Maybe not neutered and spayed, but you should, for women, they should have their tubes tied. For men, they should be snipped. That's fair, because it goes to both sides. Men should be snipped. Women should be tied and had the edges burned. No more kids. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Murder children. But tonight, police tell a different story. Gotti Schwartz, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channels.
There you go. So thank you guys so very much for watching that story there. And again, man, I'll say this, and for the person that wanted to come in and under somebody else's name, I've told you guys, you can say what you want to say in my chat, but you have to come in as yourself. If you come in under somebody else's account or somebody else's name, you will be blocked, as you just found out. I don't mind. Whatever it is that you want to say, I want you guys to be able to have your voices and all that good stuff, but you're going to have to come in here with a level of respect, and you have to come in and be yourself. That's the stipulation. I feel like that's fair. Everybody understand that? Come in with your own unique name, your name, not somebody else's name, and talk about the topic like you got some sense. I think that makes perfect sense. All right. So again, my synopsis of this story at the end of the day is, let me turn that down a little bit. My synopsis of this story at the end of the day is that, number 1, the mother and the father should be charged equally because they both had equal responsibility in what happened to these children. For all these years, what'd you say? What's up, Hitting the Miss with this? What's up, Sun Grown? What up? What up? What up? I see you doing good work over there. I see you. Keep it up.
30 hertz, straight up.
But like I said, man, the only way that the black community is going to get better is if everyone is held accountable and everybody is treated equal. If you talk about equal rights, you should be able to get equal lefts. And what that means is that if you're going to treat a man in a harsh way when it comes to judging them by the way that they raise children, then you should judge women by the same standard. Because number 1, I believe that if you treat people fairly and you treat people equally, then it sets a standard. And what we don't have is we don't have an equal and fair standard. So in turn, what you see happening is a lot of dysfunction. And that dysfunction comes because nobody knows how to act. Nobody knows what's right. Nobody knows what's justice and what's not justice. Because there is no clear-cut standard for anybody. Not for criminals, not for parents, not for students, not for teachers, not for the way that we run our government. And we could do so much better. Equal rights should be equal lefts. Shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor. Now, we topped out today at about 385 people. Not too bad. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read off the donations that were sent, and it looks like we might have had a couple more come through. So again, if you guys want to support the show and our platform and what we do, There's a PayPal link up here, which is paypal.me/DJJustJOK. There's also a Patreon over here, which is patreon.com/DJJustJOK. I have some awesome perks that you can take advantage of if you take a look at it and find out what it is that I'm offering. I think it's pretty cool. We've already had some people take advantage, but even if you want to start as small as a donation as 4 quarters, as long as it's not less than $1, it helps tremendously. Not only will I give you a shout out, but you're also supporting the platform and the message that we're pushing here. We know not everybody has a lot of money and not a lot of funds to be able to do things, but everybody should be able to support the things that they want to see do something positive and something big. Same thing with my brother Tommy Sotomayor. People say that they want to see him stream more, do more shows. Now you have to support him from his website. You'll see when Tommy goes live. Check him out on the website. For the people that are here for the first time, Miss Perkins and other people, thank you so much, especially for her. And Miss Perkins, what I want you to do is I want you to understand that what I'm here to do is I'm here to earn your subscription and earn your support. Once I earn your support, at that point, then I would love to be able to earn your donations and your contributions in a monetary form. I don't want to just be given anything. I don't want people to just throw anything to me. I want to be able to earn it, and I want to work hard for it. We have been working hard, and we have been continuing to build the platform. We're going to continue to build more, and we're going to continue to bring you guys story that I believe injects this thing called shame and accountability in the Black community. Yes, I'm going to continue to push my brother Tommy Sotomayor's message until the end, because I believe that that is one thing that is missing, which is why I wholeheartedly believe in the message. It's not everybody's job to believe in what I believe in and what Tommy believes in and what Soto Nation believes in. You guys can push your own message and you guys can follow whoever you want to follow. But for the people here, we're going to always speak from love. We're going to always speak from the side of truth and the side of logic. That is what we do here. So again, thank you to everybody that supports what we do here.